Get into the Stearman, get it started, and taxi into position for takeoff. Taxi to the runway and take off when you're ready. Climb to 1,000 feet before starting any maneuvers. That's enough altitude to start. Okay, let's have you perform the loop maneuver first. Now I want you to fly the maneuvers over the runway so you have a reference point on the ground. Also, part of the aerobatic performance is showing up for the crowd. Doing the maneuver over the runway makes sure they have a great view. Now before you fly a loop, raise airspeed to 125 miles per hour or 110 knots by lowering the nose into a shallow dive. When ready, smoothly pull back on the stick into a vertical climb. Just keep holding the stick back as you go over the top and recover on the downside of the loop. Go ahead and try the loop again. Just keep holding the stick back as you go over the top and recover on the downside of the loop. Great loop, well done. Great job staying over the runway. Your next maneuver will be a barrel roll to either the left or the right. Your choice. Get yourself lined up with the runway to prepare for the roll. Like with the loop, lower the nose and gain airspeed to 125 miles per hour or 110 knots. When you're ready, gently pull the nose up about 20 degrees, then move the stick all the way to the left or right and hold it there. Not quite. Go ahead and try the barrel roll again. Barrel roll. Great job. Way to perform over the runway. Your next maneuver will be a hammerhead or stall turn. Okay, now let me explain what it is before you try it. In this maneuver, you'll pull the aircraft into a vertical climb. Just slow down very quickly, even with the engine providing thrust. When your airspeed drops to less than 40 miles per hour or 35 knots, apply full left rudder. The tail should kick around and you'll be pointing straight down. You ready? I'll talk you through it. Okay, line up with the runway and increase your speed to 125 miles per hour or 110 knots. When you're ready, pull back on the stick and go straight up. airspeed to drop below 40 miles per hour or 35 knots. Now, full left rudder. Left rudder, not right. Great, now kick the tail around until your nose down. Now, pull back on the stick and recover to level flight. You got it your first time. Way to perform over the runway. I got a nice view of that. Great job so far. One last maneuver before you land and catch your breath. Climb to 3,000 feet for more altitude while I explain how to enter and exit a spin. I'm sure you've seen spins in a lot of Hollywood films. The aircraft drops vertically while spinning around its center, usually with smoke trailing after it's been shot down. At least one of your wings needs to be stalled to spin. So first, you'll need to get the aircraft into a stall. A stall happens when a wing is at too sharp an angle to the air flowing over it. This causes the smooth airflow to separate into turbulent curls, which no longer provides enough lift. You're leaving the practice area and I can't see you well enough to provide any instruction. Fly back to the airport. Normally, this happens at slow airspeeds, but it can also happen at high airspeeds if you turn hard enough. The turbulent air causes the aircraft to buffet a little and feel unresponsive just before it stalls, so you'll normally have some warning first. Get to 3,000 feet before we continue. You've got enough altitude now. Position yourself over the runway. When you're ready, go ahead and enter a stall by reducing throttle to idle. Try to maintain altitude as your speed bleeds off. Okay, I see you now. Put in full left rudder and hold it there. I said left rudder. Good job, you're in a spin. Now let it spin around a couple of times before you recover. You're leaving the practice area and I can't see you well enough to provide any instruction. Fly back to the airport. Okay, I see you now. Go ahead and try the spin again. You've got enough altitude now. Position yourself over the runway. Put in full left rudder and hold it there. I said left rudder. Good job, you're in a spin. Now let it spin around a couple of times before you recover. Go ahead and try the spin again. Get to 3,000 feet before we continue. Area and I can't see see you well enough to provide any instruction. Fly back to the airport. You've got enough altitude now. Position yourself over the runway. When you're ready, go ahead and enter a stall by reducing throttle to idle. Try to maintain altitude as your speed bleeds off. Okay, I see you now. Put in full left rudder and hold it there. Good job, you're in a spin. Now let it spin around a couple of times before you recover. Now put in full right rudder to stop the spin. Good. Recover from the dive and return to level flight. Great job performing the maneuvers. There are a lot more maneuvers you can fly with the Stearman. Feel free to practice these maneuvers over the airport before landing, or go ahead and land. Job today. If you keep up the practice, you can start performing at air shows.